Hello, sweet ones, and welcome to this week's episode of Embodied Divinity. Today, we're talking about something that has been dancing through my heart and life in the most delicious and tender ways. Grace, gratitude, and what we're really going to focus on today is opening to receive. So, before we begin, let's take a deep breath. Let's settle into this space together. Set the intention to be here now, to receive whatever it is you desire to receive from today's sharings, offerings, the love that's present. Breathing in and just setting the intention to open your heart. So, as we move through today's conversation, let me just set the scene for you. Imagine a woman, maybe you, maybe me, standing at the edge of something beautiful. Her hands open, trembling, not from weakness, but from the courage it takes to truly let herself receive. If you're feeling this, if your heart moves at the idea of being held, of being supported, of being cared for, stay with me because this one's for you. The last few weeks, we've talked about surrender and trust. And last week talked about really being in this lull of not quite who we're becoming, but not quite who we used to be. And so opening to receive and really being present to the idea of being cared for amidst all of that, amidst everything that the collective is moving through right now, can feel really hard. So before we get too deep into receiving, I want to share two of the most profound tools, vibrations, energies, whatever you want to call them, that helped me on my journey to really opening to receive. The first one is grace. Grace is really holding yourself in love as you learn, as you become, as you move through life. Grace isn't just for the spiritual moments when you feel like a walking god or goddess. Grace is for when you're crying in your car because someone showed you kindness and you didn't know how to accept it, or someone showed you kindness and your heart broke open in love. That's what it's been like for me on my journey to receive. Is these small gestures of love and kindness have slowly stretched my heart open. Up until a few years ago, I was in that hyper independence mode. I had mastered all of these versions of myself. I was physically strong. I was financially capable and structured and taken care of by me. And obviously, now knowing that that was the universe also, I was capable of providing for me and my kids in every way. But opening to receive support from an outside source stretched my heart in ways that I've never felt before. Because for me, growing up with the childhood I had and with the relationships that I had, I learned that when people did things for me, I would owe them, or they would hold it over my head, or they would leave. And so opening to receive felt so tender. We've all been there in some way or another, right? When someone offers to help, to hold space, or just simply be with you, you feel this internal battle. Part of you wants to say yes, But another part whispers, do I deserve this? Am I too much? Will they stop if they see all of me? Does this make me look weak? So many different things might go through our heads and our hearts in those moments. And here's the thing, grace is about saying, even when I don't know how to receive, I am still worthy of love. Even when I don't know how to receive, I am still worthy of love. I've been feeling this big time lately. My heart has been breaking open, not from pain, but from the sheer force of love. The love I've been learning to give myself, and even harder, the love I've been learning to let others give me, whether it be from my kids or a stranger on the street. Grace is what catches us when we're learning how to trust. Trusting others, trusting the universe, trusting ourselves. So I invite you to ask yourself, where in your life can you give yourself grace? Maybe it's grace for the times you've pushed love away because you were scared. Maybe it's grace for the fact that receiving feels harder than giving. Or maybe it's simply grace for the messy, magical journey you're on. So, grace, numero uno tool for learning to receive. Now, I want to step into gratitude. And I know you've heard this before, especially if you've been listening here. Gratitude is the key to abundance. And yes, it is. But not in the fake it till you make it kind of way. Gratitude isn't about slapping a smile on your face and pretending everything's fine. It's about the quiet moments when you stop and say, wow, even here, even now, there is beauty. For me, gratitude has been the bridge between wanting and receiving. It's one thing to say, I want love, I want support, I want abundance. It's another thing to look at your life and say, I already have so much. This shift is powerful. When we focus on what we're grateful for, we open ourselves to more. It's like telling the universe, I see your blessings and I'm ready for more. That's my favorite phrase for the universe, is when something cool happens, when I'm experiencing these joyful sensations or sensations of excitement, I say, thank you, more please. And I just allow myself to be in that space of thank you, more please. So let's do this together right now. Wherever you are, take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. Think of one thing you're grateful for, just one. Maybe it's the warmth of the sun on your face, the sound of laughter, the fact that you're alive here listening to this. Maybe it's even just the iced coffee you're drinking. Step into that feeling of gratitude for what you have now and let it open your heart. It's as simple as that. Gratitude isn't about perfection. It's about presence. Knowing right here, right now, life is happening for you in the perfect way, in the perfect time. So we're learning to sink into grace and gratitude. Now let's learn how those come together to help us open into receiving, into leaning back into the trust of ourselves and the universe. I'll be honest, receiving has been one of the hardest lessons for me. I'm a natural giver. I'm so good at giving, at doing things for others, of serving others. Like so many of you, giving for me feels safe. It feels powerful. But receiving requires vulnerability. The universe has been teaching me this lesson over and over, saying, Nikyla, it's safe to lean back. It's safe to let yourself be held. There's this beautiful, yummy energy in leaning back and allowing. It's the feminine energy of receptivity. It's the art of saying, I trust you. I trust the universe. I trust myself. And let me tell you, it feels so good when you finally let yourself be supported. Whether it's letting someone help you with something small or opening your heart to big love, receiving is a practice. Receiving is a radical act. It's a declaration to yourself, to the universe, that you believe you are worthy. And that's why it feels so vulnerable. Receiving requires trust. It asks you to lean back into something greater than yourself and say, I trust that I don't have to do this alone. I trust that I am supported. I trust that I am enough just as I am. For so many of us, receiving has been a struggle because we've been conditioned to equate worthiness with productivity, like we talked about a couple episodes ago. If I give enough, if I work hard enough, if I prove myself enough, then maybe, just maybe, I'll deserve love, care, and abundance. But the truth is, you don't have to earn your worthiness. It's inherent. You were born worthy. Receiving isn't passive. It's not about sitting around and waiting for things to happen. It's an active state of openness and alignment. Speaking of alignment, I have a do-it-yourself course called Alignment. It's 7 weeks through the chakras. It helps you to see all of these ways through every single energy center that you might not be fully in alignment with your higher self. If you're interested, you can check it out in the link below wherever you're hearing this. Let's get back to it. Think about the ocean. When the tide comes in, the shoreline doesn't resist, it receives. And then when the tide flows out, it releases. Receiving and releasing are part of the same rhythm, the same dance. A couple, I think like 6 episodes ago, we talked about the art of detachment, of desiring, wanting, opening to all these things, but not being attached to a certain outcome. This is part of the art of receiving. When the tide comes in, the shoreline's not saying, oh my gosh, what if you hurt me? And when the tide goes out, it's not saying you're abandoning me. It's just this natural flow, this beautiful dance. When we resist receiving, it's like trying to hold back the tide. We tense up, we block the flow, and we wonder why we feel depleted, unsupported, or disconnected. To truly receive, we have to soften. We have to trust that it's safe to let the tide in, that it's safe to let ourselves be filled. Receiving is such a beautiful sensation as you open to it. Receiving can feel warm and expansive, like your heart is opening. It can feel a little scary, like stepping onto a bridge that you can't quite see the other side of. It can feel tender, like you're shedding an old skin and stepping into something new. For me, receiving has felt like my heart cracking open over and over and over. It's a mix of joy and vulnerability. I've had moments when I've cried my eyes out, not because I was sad, but because the act of letting someone, and in this case, the universe, care for me, touch something deep inside of me that I didn't even know was there. This is the magic of receiving. It reconnects you to your humanity, your softness, your divinity all at once. Last year, I asked the universe to support me, to provide for me, to protect me. And I set that intention, but it's just been this last couple of months that I've really opened. And just a couple weeks ago in meditation, and I'm pretty sure I shared some of this in a couple episodes ago, but as I was sitting there, really contemplating, like desiring a deep partnership in my life, desiring love in my life, desiring the one to come and join me, the universe said, until he comes, can you let me be that? Can you let me provide for you, protect you, sustain you? And I've been on this journey with the universe ever since, of just being in this deep state of surrender, allowing myself to be held and supported, and constantly coming back to grace in any moments when I'm feeling so good and so high, and those thoughts come in and say, oh no, when is the other shoe going to drop? I stop and I say, I love you, thought. I know why you're here. I know that it feels scary to be in this much joy, but this gets to be our new normal. That's where grace comes in for me. In that lull we talked about last week, instead of wondering when all of the answers are going to come, when the path is going to come, I'm in deep gratitude for where I'm at now, for this time and space I have now to pause and breathe and integrate. So let's be grace-filled and in gratitude for it all as we open and learn how to receive. So why is it so hard to receive sometimes? Let's just look at this. Number one, there could be a fear of vulnerability. When you receive, you're letting someone or the universe see you in your raw, unfiltered truth, and that can feel scary. It could be something about control. Giving keeps us in control. Receiving requires surrender. It could be your beliefs about worthiness, about yourself. If you've been taught that love or abundance must be earned, the idea of simply receiving can feel foreign. But here's the things, those blocks aren't walls. They're doors, and you have the key. I'm going to make this really practical. Here is how you can start cultivating your ability to receive. Number one, start small. Receiving doesn't have to start with a grand gesture. It can be as simple as letting someone open the door for you without rushing to say, oh, I've got it, or allowing yourself to enjoy a compliment without brushing it off. The next time someone says, you look amazing today, instead of deflecting, try this. Smile. Take a deep breath and say, thank you. That's it. Just let the words land. Let the gesture land in your body. Number two, create the space for receiving. Imagine your life is a cup. If your cup is constantly full of responsibilities, busyness, and giving to others, there's no room to receive. So try this. Take 5 minutes today to just sit and do nothing. Feel the space you've created. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but that's okay. Space is where receiving begins. Number 3, ask for what you need. This one can feel really vulnerable, but it's oh so powerful. Whether it's asking a friend for help, telling your partner what kind of support you need, or asking the universe for a specific blessing. Practice putting your desires and needs into words. And here's the key. When you ask, trust that the answer will come. Not always in the way you expect, but always in the way you need. Number 4, visualize receiving. One of my favorite practices is simple visualization. Close your eyes and imagine standing under a gentle waterfall of light. Let this light represent love, abundance, and support. Feel it flowing over you, feeling every part of you. And as you do this, repeat, it is safe for me to receive. I am worthy of being provided for and protected. And number 5, lean into feminine energy. Whether you're male or female, we all have that feminine energy. Receiving is deeply connected to feminine energy, the energy of flow, trust, and surrender. It's about leaning back instead of leaning in, allowing instead of forcing. Practice this in the small ways. Maybe it's just letting someone take care of a task for you, or maybe it's just letting yourself enjoy the feeling of being pampered, nourished, or held. Allowing yourself to be taken care of is so beautiful. I wanted to share this journey of receiving with you because it's been such a revelation in my own life. Being taken care of doesn't make you weak. It makes you whole. There's such a deliciousness in allowing yourself to be provided for and protected. It's not about giving up your independence. It's about embracing the truth that you don't have to do it all alone. The universe, your loved ones, your guides, they all want to support you, but you have to let them. So here's my invitation to you. Take one small step today to open yourself to receiving. Say yes to something that scares you a little bit, but feels good. Let someone love you, help you, or care for you. And remember, my love, receiving isn't about taking, it's about allowing. It's about letting the energy of love, abundance, and support to flow into your life. You are so worthy. You are so loved, and it is safe to open your hands, your heart, and your soul to receive. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. You are already so loved. The universe is waiting to pour blessings into your life. Your only job is to open your hands, your heart, and your soul to receive. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's vulnerable, but it is also beautiful. Give yourself grace on this journey. Anchor into gratitude and trust that it's safe to lean back and be held. On Friday, I'm going to help you move into this space with our guided meditation all about grace and receiving. So stay tuned for that. And let's take one last deep breath together. Inhale grace, exhale gratitude, and let yourself feel how supported you are right here, right now. I love you guys. As always, breathe deep and plan on miracles.